You ever wonder why we're here? It's one of life's great mysteries, isn't it?
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3 o'clock. He was a second early.
It did look a little early. Not to get into a whole thing. Hello and welcome to another episode of the KFace podcast. This is episode 151. My name is Jeffrey Ramdo.
Jeffrey Ramdo?
Can I do another take?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do a bit,
you can do as many as you want.
Are you going to do a preview?
There's no limit.
No.
Oh, yeah, of course, that would be crazy.
Well, now I've completely botched it in all ways. My name is Jeffrey Paul Wright, and with me, as always, Raymond Somer in Canada and Pat Gavindale from the UK.
They are alter egos.
Raymond, Pat, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I used my birth name, the name I was born with, Jeffrey Paul Wright, just in case you didn't know that.
I used to try and have like an alter ego character when I was at school. It was called Errol.
Errol?
Like Errol Flynn?
He didn't have a last name.
What was the point of Errol? Like, what did he do? What was the character? What's the alter ego? What was your thing?
He was like me, but a bit cheeky.
Well, no, when you say...
I'd be like, that was Errol talking.
That doesn't seem... That feels really weird to make a whole alter ego for just a little bit cheeky. Like, I feel like there needs to be a wider change for you
I
to
don't
have
know.
an
All my
alter
friends
ego.
decided to do it. Like, I had a friend called Frank, and he was like, oh, that was a little bit of Herman there.
It would be like if I said I have an alter ego named the Flux, and the difference was I wore hats as the Flux. That was how you could tell. Like, it doesn't really matter. It's a slight difference. You probably came across the same.
I was probably 13, though, so there's not a lot of logic behind it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Andrew, you pulled the name The Flux out of thin air so quickly, it sounds like a name that you have been thinking about for a while. Where did you just invent that off the top of your head?
I did it top of my head. I went through like 3 other ones, and that one sounded the best. So I went the Flux. The Flux.
Errol Flynn versus The Flux.
We got superhero characters. We're set.
Oh my God, that's funny.
One is a bit cheeky and the other wears hats.
And his name's The something. It's like a superhero. What's your power? I have hats.
I wear hats. I have a head that can fit a hat.
I don't get sun in my eyes, so I can see better.
Reduce sunburns.
That was a weird start, wasn't it, that episode?
That's a great start. I can't believe that's maybe the biggest reveal to begin an episode.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Have you ever told anybody that? Has that ever been in any other piece of content that you can remember? Errol?
No, yeah, I don't think I've ever mentioned that.
Errol Free.
I once tried to convince Michael that my birth name was Cedric, but he didn't go for it.
No.
I couldn't get through it without laughing, so he found me out.
That is a giveaway. So is Errol still around? Like, is there a cheekier version of you now that can still come out? And should I be like, oh, that's Errol speaking? Or when did Errol die?
I think Errol died the same year he was born. But
Really?
I feel like now, like maybe if I'm a little bit tipsy now, maybe Errol will come back.
Can we get a tombstone? Can we get like a grave for Errol somewhere? Can we have like an official placement for Errol?
Yeah, like 2002 to 2002, Errol.
Yeah, exactly.
Errol
but
free.
like in a cemetery. Can we just buy his face and put an Errol grave down?
I bet we could.
And then face listeners can go and pay their respects to Errol.
Yeah. I think we probably want an isolated part of the cemetery for that.
Like fucking Jim Morrison's grave. You can go leave shit there.
How much would it cost to bring in a load of dirt to the show floor of RTX and put a tombstone in it?
Oh man.
Oh, that's great for the museum. That's perfect.
Errol. Did Errol was it Errol Free or was it a different last name? Was it a
It's
full
just
alter
Errol.
ego? Just
Errol,
okay.
like in quotes, Errol.
Now, you've been talking a lot about Errol was cheeky. Can you give us some cheeky Errol examples of when Errol would come out?
Yeah, what's an Errolism?
I think if I was just I can't really remember. I'd probably have to talk to some of my old friends to be like, you remember when Errol would come out?
Did Errol have walkout music? Or did he have a whole alter ego? Did you think... Now, would Errol just come out? Would you just say something and that was Errol? Or would you think about it and decide, you know what? Errol's going to make an appearance here. I'm going to say that slightly more cheeky thing.
I think I would always talk about him in the past tense, like Errol had happened.
Oh, so it's like a cover. Like you'd be cheeky and you'd be like, sorry guys, Errol showed up for a minute there.
But we all had these characters and we'd all like, talk about our characters.
Wait, you all had characters?
Well, yeah, like Frank had Herman. we all had, but we would like often talk about what they were like. Look, I had a very long walk to school. All right, I had about a 35-minute trek across town. It was boring. You had to do these things.
I respect. I just love what
I couldn't have lived further from the school without being like in a bus district.
I thought this was a you thing. The fact that you had a community of friends all doing the same thing. I'm so glad you all found each other. That's such a wonderful.
About 4 of us, I think.
I think it's positively delightful.
Oh man.
I also had another character that I would only bring out amongst a certain few people. This was probably when I was when I was 20.
You have 2?
Yeah, in the south of France, whenever I used to go there a lot with the same group of friends, and I would always whip out a character called Stewart the bumbling customer, and I would like look at stuff on the shelves. I'd like pick up a shampoo and then accidentally knock down like 7 shampoos, and it would just crack up these 3 friends, and then I have to go back and like put it all back up because I worked in a supermarket and I couldn't live myself to leave it like that. But I would just knock shit over in a supermarket and then they'd be like, oh, Stewart's back. Honestly, I shouldn't. Talking about all this in a row for like 6 minutes, I'm starting to feel like a real freak. So I want to put.
I feel like Stewart is more normal. Stewart feels like you're doing a sketch almost, like that's a character. Where Errol feels like a strange. You're just slightly more sassy.
I've pulled out Stewart around Meg before. She hates it. She's not a fan. So Stewart also has died, unfortunately.
I can't believe I've known you 5 years before Stewart was born, and I've never seen Stewart.
The thing is, I forget stuff. Like I probably forgot it for a decade, and then I whipped it out again. But yeah, in the middle, I lived with you, and I think Stewart and Errol were both dead at the same time.
Well, and also like you have different shit for different friends, right? Like, and
that's true.
Oh yeah.
You probably you compartmentalize that stuff and you don't realize it. Yeah.
Oh, I should have whipped out Stewart when we were shopping for the tiniest thing the other day.
Eric, can you imagine if Gavin slipped into a character named Stewart that we had never seen or been exposed to before in the grocery? I would have lost my mind.
We just keep asking him questions about the rules, and he knows that he has to answer them, but he won't. And now I would hate Stewart. That's terrible. I hate it. Oh boy.
Oh man. What a start.
Can I ask, where do the names come from? Was Errol a name that you were just like fascinated with, or like was it?
I think it's a really funny name.
Okay.
I think it's great.
Errol?
Yeah.
It's fun to yell. Like if you're annoyed with somebody.
I haven't heard it yelled.
Were you aware of the famous British actor Errol Flynn?
God,
it was
no.
like Robin Hood and all that stuff. No,
I didn't know anyone
wasn't
called Errol.
Wasn't modeled after him in any way.
That's great.
No.
Thank you for sharing that.
I think Errol Flynn was Australian, wasn't he?
He might have been. I don't know. It's all the same.
What would did you guys go into any characters when you were younger?
Not that had names.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Oh, what was yours?
I used to be.
Oh no.
What is this going to be?
I'm so worried.
It's talk about not thinking about stuff for years and years and years. Until I was way too old, whenever I was by myself, I would pretend I was Wolverine.
Like in what way?
To call myself Logan, walk around, like always be ready to pop the claws, like always looking around for like ninjas to be attacking me. And by too low, I mean I was probably I might have been 14 when I stopped.
Oh man, I was hoping this was later.
It was like
So
7.
what would you do? Would
So
you
like from
talk
like
to yourself?
7 to like, yeah, I'd be
man.
I'd walk around in my neighborhood, be like, I'm the best at what I do. And what I do is very pretty. And I would do all this shit. I would say all that stuff. And I'd be like on my way to, like if I was going to go to my friend Mike's house, I'd be like on my way to rendezvous with Cyclops or like whatever, you know, and I would just have all these X-Men fantasies in my head. And I was always Wolverine. I had some excuse for why I was taller than Wolverine. Something had happened to me. I don't remember.
That's
It was
great.
fucking great. Yeah.
Now, did Mike know he was Cyclops, or was this just all
No,
internal?
nobody had
Okay.
any idea. I never shared this. When it
Oh,
would
that's
rain,
so
oh my
disappointing.
god, dude! All the best Wolverine comics were like him, like bending down, popping his claws in the rain. And he's got like a menacing face on, and you know shit's about to get real. So anytime it would rain in Alabama, I would run outside and run around as Wolverine in the rain. I was fucking.
So I assume this was before the amazing Saturday morning cartoon with the amazing theme tune.
It would have probably been around then. Probably a little bit before, maybe a year or two before. I think that was like 90. When did that come out? Like 91, 97, something like that.
91,
97,
97. What you said, walking around ready to pop the claws, and when that situation presented itself, Jeff, what would happen?
I popped the claws.
Okay.
I imagine him walking around with like 3 carrots between his fingers.
I'd pop the claws, and then I would fucking take out invisible dudes.
Yeah. I feel like that's like a wrist snap in my head you do for like the action or like what the pop is.
Yeah.
Almost like shooting. Yeah. That's so great. I love that you did that. I don't have that. I wish I had. Do you remember when Wolverine died? Do you have a moment for that when you just stopped?
Yeah. It wasn't Wolverine he caught a stray bullet.
Oh no.
he caught a stray from another thing. I think I may have told this story on this podcast or maybe on a different one, so I'll be brief, but like I was in my front yard one day playing G.I. Joe versus Transformers, as you do. And like I had built this base out of this dirt pile, and G.I. Joe was going in to infiltrate. The Transformers were the bad guys this day. So it flipped, you know, sometimes the Transformers were the good guys, sometimes it was G.I. Joe. It just depended on whatever the storyline was. And they were infiltrating, and they were going to try to blow this base up. And I just wasn't having fun. And I'm 14 or 15, I think, at this point. And I just wasn't having fun. And I went inside. And what you do when playing with G.I. Joe gets boring is you go find your firecrackers and then you start blowing. Then you start laying depth charges and fucking C4 and stuff and blowing stuff up. And I was blowing up my G.I. Joe characters and it still wasn't fun. And I just remember looking at them and thinking, this is never going to be fun again. This is over. I just grew up. Like, I was like, this is the moment when I realized I'm not a kid anymore and I'll never enjoy this again. And it made me so unbearably sad that there was a kid who lived next door to me. I lived in a duplex at the time. There was a kid who lived next door to me who was about 11 or 12. I couldn't fucking stand him. He was obnoxious. But I just took all my G.I. Joes that day and I put everything in a trash bag and I just walked over and I gave it all to him. And I was just like, you can have this. I don't think I'll ever use it again. And I think Wolverine, I don't specifically remember the day that Wolverine's healing powers finally failed and he succumbed to old age or death or whatever. But he definitely died that day, I think, in my heart. You know, and that was like the day I remembered I wasn't a child anymore and I was something else.
So sad.
And what was even sadder, because what was even sadder in that moment was I realized I no longer had joy in the things that I had been enjoying my entire childhood, but I didn't know what I did like. You know, it's like I know I don't like all the stuff I used to like now. What do I like going forward? You know, and it took me a little while to figure that out.
I would have loved if you had a one last claw pop moment. If you just had you were aware, you're like, this is it. This is the last one.
I mean, maybe like, who knows? Maybe once or twice, you know, in the woods when I'm 15 or 17 or whatever, you'd have a moment where you'd slip into it and then you'd be like, oh, what am I doing? I'm fucking 17 or whatever. But yeah.
That's great.
I'm imagining just all your friends were gone for some reason. You're just waiting for a bus on your own and you just popped them.
Yeah, probably. Just see if I still could, you know, see if they still work. You're like, I don't resort to violence anymore, but it's good to know I can if I have to.
Wow, who would have thought Andrew was the normal one?
Well, no, I mean, I didn't have a name. I had a very similar experience to Geoff, where I'd play like with plastic swords in like the backyard and pretend I was having fights and whatnot. And I distinctly remember being like 10 years old and doing it and having the thing of like, I can't buy into this anymore. And I just never did it again Just like the sadness of like, oh man, all the joy, like you said. This isn't fun anymore. I can't buy into this. This is sad. This is an end of a chapter.
Yeah. It was a legitimately, and I assume it's the same for you, Andrew. It was a legitimately heartbreaking moment for me.
Very
in my
heartbreaking.
life, which is why I'm 47 and I can still recall it like it was yesterday.
Yes.
You know? Those become foundational memories, yeah.
Absolutely. And I wish I still had that. Like, it's a thing I lost that I wish I still maintained. I'd love to be able to have that much fun just swinging a plastic sword around.
Yeah, well, you know, you could have done that whenever you wanted to at Achievement Hunter. It was tons of fun. There's a lot of sword play back then.
Eric and Nick, were either of you freaks?
No, not. I can't think of anything that I did like that. Like when I was like a kid, we pretended to be the X-Men, but it wasn't like I was walking around waiting to pop the claws.
Yeah, you're ready.
It was just, playing with friends, being like, we're the X-Men, and like fighting fake things. Like that was kind of it. I would use a pseudonym a lot. I would use the name Terry Modesto Jr. When I had to fill out paperwork that I didn't want anything to do with. That was just my knee-jerk go-to. But it didn't, like, I wasn't a bit cheeky when it happened. I just continued being me.
Where did Terry Modesto Jr. come from? That's such a specific name.
I don't know. It seemed like a real fake name to me. Like, it seems like a fake name, but it just has like one layer where you go, could be a real name. And that to me is where it really worked.
I feel like all of our fake names give a good indication of where we all grew up.
I gotta say, Gav, I think you deserve the most credit. I was playing some shit I read in a comic book. You invented characters out of sackcloth and ashes, just like out of thin air. I think that's probably a lot harder. I have a lot of respect for that. Same as Terry Modesto Jr., of course. You guys weren't just like latching on to some IP that was already popular. You were creating your own.
I feel like the next episode is going to have a great intro. That's all I'm saying.
Nick?
Yeah, what is Nick talking about in the chat? I had a weird combined one as a kid. What?
It was a grouping. So it was like my friends and I were fans of the Power Rangers as kids, but we also liked professional wrestling. So we would kind of combine them. You'd be like, oh, the Red Ranger's going off the top ropes kind of thing, like doing goofy shit like that. So it'll be like Jason, Tommy, like goofy stuff like that. But the day that it ended, I remember very well when Tommy and Jason were put to rest is when we were wrestling on a giant trampoline and I drop kicked my friend off the ledge. And he was fine. He was fine. But on that day, the magic died a little bit.
Yeah, that was the last day of the Wrestle Rangers.
Yeah, the Wrestle Rangers ceased to be.
It's whenever Nick does the voice of himself as a kid, I can't help but picture the little propeller on his head as he's doing it.
God damn. Man, what a funny conversation we stumbled into that I was
That's 20 minutes of shit that definitely wasn't written down anyway.
Yeah, I didn't have any of that in mind.
I can't. It's gonna be a while before I escape the idea of Ivan Ooze getting hit by a steel chair with like Nick as a kid. Just the purple shit flying everywhere. That's great, Nick. I love that. Oh man. What a time. I can't believe we're almost 20 minutes into this, and this is not, you are, as far as I'm concerned, Geoff, the star of this episode. I want to know so much about how your weekend went. We built up the big sports weekend last episode. I haven't asked any questions in our personal life because I'm just so excited to hear it here.
I've just seen one clip.
Yeah, we've seen the same thing.
Yeah, let's get into that. We'll mix it up with that. Although I don't know how many great stories there are to tell or anything, but I'll recount the weekend.
I'd love to hear
Eric
that.
can as well. He was a part of most of it. But I have some hot info that I need to drop that you guys are not aware of. Eric knows about it, but the rest of you don't. There has been a major face update in the last week.
Man.
Oh.
What
An
happened?
insane thing has happened.
I'm terrified.
About 5 days ago, Emily walked in to Millie's bedroom to ask her a question or something. And Millie was just sitting at her bed, chomping on an apple. And Emily said, "Hey, where'd you get that apple? We don't have any apples." And Millie said, "Yeah, we do. Millie ate my Cosmic Crisp. She had no idea. To her credit, it was just sitting in the fridge by itself in the back. I had hidden it behind stuff, but she found it. I don't remember the day we put it in, but it's got to be at least 3 or 4 months old. She ate the entire thing, even after I told her, stop, it's not good. She insisted that it was. She said it was the best tasting apple she has ever eaten in her life, and she said it was defined by the fact that one half was very sweet and the other half was very sour. So she felt like she got 2 apples in one.
Was it like which side was facing the back of the fridge? Or something?
I assume so. I assume it had to be something like that.
Oh no!
But yeah, so I gotta.
Oh my god!
Reset the clock.
We gotta reset the clock.
good.
I gotta go out and buy a new apple. Cause Millie she ate our
Holy
progress.
shit.
Can I be honest with you about the apple thing?
Yeah.
I don't think I did that. Right? I just never did.
No.
it.
you never
did.
did.
There's a Cosmic Crisp in my fridge.
What?
What?
I found it the other day, like behind a bunch of stuff. When did I put that in?
You never told us that you did that.
Yeah.
I don't remember doing it myself.
We made fun of the fact that you never tried. I ate my apple after a few weeks. You never did it. When would that have been?
And I asked Meg about it. I was like, "Is this yours?" And she was like, "No, that's your Cosmic Crisp."
What? How old? When? Wow.
I have no idea.
Can you tell at all? Does it look old? Like, how does
it doesn't look great.
Oh, that's probably a year.
Do you think it wasn't you? Could it have been Errol?
Could have been cheeky old Errol coming out putting a Cosmic Crisp in there.
Can you cut it in half and see if there's a sweet side and a sour side?
Oh my god.
So I now don't know how old that is. I might have to.
Would you be willing to try it or like cut it open and maybe take a bite? Can we get photos of this? Because
Is
I
it
feel like this is
bruised?
over a year. It has to.
Shall I go and take a photo of it now?
Yeah.
You can if you want. We're doing 2. We could do it on the second one. You want
That's
to
Yeah,
chase
all
it
right.
for the next one?
Let's do it next week.
A little teaser for the next next episode.
Yeah.
I can't believe she ate that. That's great. That gives me confidence because I've had some Cosmic Crisps in my fridge for 2 weeks now, maybe 2 or 3. And I
they're
had the
fine.
Yeah. No, I kind of had the concern. I thought, nah, they're fine. They're going to last a while. Now I've got so much more road to give before I need to worry about those things. It's great.
I'll have to go back and check my photos. I think I took a photo the day I put it in to see the timestamp, but it must be 3 months.
That's incredible.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. What a great
So
apple.
kudos to the Cosmic Crisp. It wasn't. It didn't make it a year, but that only because it looked so delicious. Apparently.
The hemispheres of flavor is very interesting. I wonder if that's a permanent thing
Yeah.
or
I do too.
a thing across all the Cosmic Crisps of a year.
So, XFL. You're going.
Oh,
you
yeah.
went to it. You did the thing.
First off, let me just say it was a crazy sports weekend because the city of Austin hosted 2 NBA games, one on Thursday, one on Saturday, and then I did the San Antonio Brahmas game on Sunday. So it was a shitload of sports in a very short amount of time. And which is awesome for me because I love fucking sports, right? But what I don't like is leaving my house. So that part of it was hard. I took Eric to see the Spurs versus the Trailblazers on Thursday night. What did you feel? What did you think about that game, Eric?
It was not good until the fourth quarter where it became such a fun basketball game that the crowd was so into, we left going, Austin needs to have a team. It ruled so hard, and it had the halftime show that I always make a joke about because I've wanted to see it for years, and it was real, and it happened. It is a small dog who does basketball tricks, and it is the best. Halftime shows are really hit and miss because when Geoff went to the other game, it was just a dance crew. I don't care
Big
about
miss.
that.
The
Boring.
Move Crew.
Yeah.
Lame. No offense, you're great dancers, but I want to see a tiny dog do a 360 dunk again. God damn it.
The San Antonio Spurs have like a creature as their mascot, and he challenged the small dog to a dunk contest, and then the small dog won. It was so cool. He did
That's
a 360 dunk. It was so sick. It was awesome.
This ad is brought to you by HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
HelloFresh takes the hassle out of mealtime this spring by delivering pre-portioned ingredients and easy-to-prepare recipes right to your door. Skip the checkout lines and get outside in the warmer weather because HelloFresh has dinner covered. April is Earth Month, and HelloFresh is always committed to a cleaner planet. On average, HelloFresh meals have a 31% lower carbon footprint than the same meals made from supermarket ingredients. Plus, nearly all HelloFresh packaging materials are curbside recyclable in most areas of the U.S. Good food is too precious to waste. HelloFresh's pre-portioned ingredients cut down on your food waste by at least 23% compared to grocery shopping, which is good for your wallet and the planet. I love HelloFresh. The boxes are so cool. The recipes are always delicious. I would strongly recommend it to anyone to check out. It's just such an awesome experience, and yeah, it's delicious food and it's fun to make. Really easy to follow. When I first got it, I didn't know a lot about cooking, but it's really easy to track. It's great. So if you want to try HelloFresh, go to hellofresh.com/face50 and use code face50 for 50% off, plus your first box ships free. That's hellofresh.com/face50 and use code face50 for 50% off, plus your first box ships free. Oh my God, did you hear that noise? That's the sound of another sale on Shopify, and the moment another business dream becomes a reality. Shopify is the commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. Whether you're selling Falcon signs or cookbooks, Shopify simplifies selling online and in person so you can focus on successfully growing your business. Shopify covers every sales channel, from an in-person POS system to an all-in-one e-commerce platform. It even lets you sell across social media marketplaces like TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Packed with industry-leading tools ready to ignite your growth, Shopify gives you complete control over your business and your brand without having to learn any new skills in design or code. And thanks to 24/7 help and an extensive business course library, Shopify is there to support your success every step of the way. What's incredible to me about Shopify is how no matter how big you want to grow, Shopify is there to empower you with the confidence and control to revolutionize your business and take your business to the next level. Now it's your turn to get serious about selling and try Shopify today. This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/face, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/face to take your business to the next level today. Shopify.com/face. Going online without ExpressVPN is like leaving your kids with the nearest stranger while using the restroom. Everybody knows how irresponsible that is. You always leave the kid with the furthest stranger. It's obvious, it's very clear advice. And most of the time, it's going to turn out to be fine. But you never truly know who you're trusting. Could be the Vancouver child kicker. Could be. I mean, I don't know who that is. Certainly not me, but it could be them. Why would you ever risk it? That's why you need to be using ExpressVPN. Every time you connect to an unencrypted network in cafes, hotels, airports, basically any network that's not your own, your online data is not secured. Any hacker on the same network can gain access to and steal your personal data. Passwords, financial details, you name it. ExpressVPN creates a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so that hackers can't steal your data. Hackers can make some serious cash selling personal information on the dark web, but ExpressVPN has made it easier than ever to keep your information safe. Just fire up the app, click one button, and you're instantly protected. And ExpressVPN works on all your devices like laptops, phones, and tablets, so you can stay secure on the go. Connect your online data today at expressvpn.com/face and get 3 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/face, expressvpn.com/face.
I gotta echo Eric's sentiments. We went to the new, it's a new arena that was just built in Austin called the Moody Center. And it's not built for NBA games, but it housed an NBA game beautifully. It already would be one of the best arenas in the NBA, and the city of Austin deserves an NBA team, goddammit. And I'm going to say that. It's going to get really annoying because I'm going to say that in every piece of content I record until Austin, Texas gets an NBA team, which will be probably 15 years at the earliest. Anyway, so Saturday, I took Millie to the next game, and it was fine. The Minnesota Timberwolves won by like 50 or something. It was ridiculous. But Sunday, we went to go see the San Antonio Brahmas. It was me, Emily, Eric, and his small wife. We drove down to San Antonio together to the Alamo Dome, which, if you're not familiar, it's a big arena in San Antonio where they have it's like a cross between an arena and a convention center. Holds 75,000 people. It didn't on that day, but it holds up to 75,000 people, and it was the most. I don't even know how to describe it. It was fucking Before I do that, I must say, celebrity sighting at the NBA game on Saturday, we saw A-Rod. He's a part owner in the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he was there sitting courtside. So it was cool to see A-Rod at a game.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He was next to Tony Parker, who was also in attendance, and Emily dubbed it Cheaters Row, where they were sitting, which is pretty funny. If you don't know why, Tony Parker is famous for cheating on Eva Longoria with his teammate's wife, causing that teammate to have to get traded because Tony Parker was a much better player. And then, of course, A-Rod and drugs.
It would suck to get traded because your friend cheated.
Yeah, it would suck. It would suck. I may be getting that a little wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it shook out. Brent Barry's wife. There you go. Yeah, of course Nick knows. Anyway, the Brahmas game was awesome. They gave us tickets to this place called the Bullpen, which is essentially an area cordoned off immediately behind the end zone. Yeah, you can see it right there. So we're at player level.
Oh,
and
wow.
We just hung out there for a half an hour. They had a hot dog maker. And by maker, I mean like a dude that makes hot dogs. And so we had some really good chili dogs and sodas. Eric had some beers, and we just hung out and chilled out. And then here's all the photos of us. And then, this awesome dude, Brad, who works in the marketing department, came and grabbed me. Lovely, lovely gentleman. Shout out to Brad. And he took me around to the tunnel, and he said, okay, what's going to happen is, and he introduced me to the flag, these three dudes that are flag carriers. And he was like, you're just going to follow these guys out, run with them, run where they go, and then I'll collect you at the end. And I go, got it. And then he moved on. And then some lady came up and she goes, all right, do you know what you're going to do? And I said, absolutely. I'm going to run with these three flag guys. I'm going to follow behind them and stay out of their way and then just go where they go. And she goes, not at all. You're going to run with the coach who, if you are an NFL fan, you might have heard of, Hines fucking Ward. So I got to run next to Hines Ward onto the field. I waved my hat. They said my name. I was so fucking out of it, pumped up and excited and nervous. I didn't even hear them say my name. And then I ran around with Hines Ward until he walked off the field. I didn't speak to him at all. He looked like he was very focused. He was thinking about plays and shit. But it was an honor to get to be in the same hallway with them. I stood next to all the players. They're all at least a foot taller than me. And I'm 6 feet tall. That was wild. They're huge. And then that was it. And then we just went back and watched the game. And, I will say, Brad told me, it was very sweet of him. He said, hey, man, I want to let you know, I tried really hard to get them to introduce you as Geoff from Face, but they won't do it. So
That was one of my questions.
Rooster Teeth. But I appreciated that he even attempted it.
I watched the clip that Emily sent me. I must have watched it 6 times. You gave it your all. You acted like that was your full-time job, was to be running out with those guys. You did not hang around. I've never seen you move like that. It looked like you wanted to do a really good job of running out.
I don't fuck around. Well, let me tell you what happened. I had it in my head. I'm running out with Hines Ward, ex-NFL player, right? But he's fucking old. And the kids in front of me, the flag dudes, they weren't like athletes or anything. And they have these big-ass heavy flags. And I thought, I'll just jog out with them. They said, go. Those dudes took off like they were running the 440 in the NFL Combine. And I look over, and Hines Ward doesn't give a fuck about me. He is booking it. And I had to kick it into another gear to keep up with them. I was like, oh, what the fuck? Am I being timed? Like, they were hauling ass. And then I realized they don't fuck around in professional sports. This was no leisurely lap. They meant business. So yeah, I had to give it my all.
Did it not make it on TV?
No.
I don't think so. I never expected
did not.
to. Yeah.
Oh.
It was sad. Unfortunately, they should have showed that. Instead, they showed Hines Ward in the middle of the field talking about losing with the other coach. He's like, we're not doing good. How do you handle that? Did you have hot dogs? You ate hot dogs before you ran, Geoff? Because that's even more impressive.
I had 2 chili dogs.
You had 2. That was you on 2 chili dogs.
That was me on
crazy.
2 chili dogs and a little pecan sandy dessert thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is I love that you wore the baseball jersey as your attire. I think that's very funny.
I wanted to rep face without putting them in any kind of a weird position.
Sure.
You know? And so I thought the face baseball jersey was it doesn't say face on it in a visible way, it just says FF. I thought that was funny. And then also, what's funnier? What's more face than wearing a baseball jersey to a football game?
Yeah, it's perfect. It's the right attire.
Even though I own Brahma's clothes I could have worn. But I was like, no.
We should have collab merch.
Oh, we should collab with the
Face X Brahmas, yeah.
Wow. I hadn't even thought about that.
We should make it specifically for the people who are on this podcast and occasionally run out XFL teams.
I want to see Don Zimmer with some horns, is what I want. That's what I want that merch to be. Oh, man, imagine if he had horns when he ran at Pedro. He would have been ready if there was a crossover. If he had the Brahmas. Yeah, he would have been great. He would have won.
It was cool to see. I was like really thrilled. It was so cool to be in the bullpen. Geoff got kind of whisked away, and then we were standing there going like, oh my God, he's going to do it, and he did it. And it was like so awesome to see that happen right in front of us. And then when Geoff came back, they were in the middle of the national anthem, and Geoff turned the corner and heard that the national anthem was playing, and I watched the army kick in, like within him. He stood... I've never seen Geoff stand up more straight and tall and like hand over the heart. It was immediate, and then it ended, and he walked back over and he's like, hey, what's up? It was so, man, that was beat into you. That was crazy.
What am I supposed to do at American sports games as a Brit? Am I supposed to stand for that, or is that treason?
No,
Okay.
it's not treason. You don't have to put your hand over your heart because that's like a pledge. But you can just stand respectfully. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I think that's what I did. I just stood there, but without my hand.
Yeah. You know, as an ex-soldier, you know, it's kind of sad. In the olden days when I was in the military and I was in uniform, I had to salute the flag. Anytime I was within, I think, 6 feet of it, I had to salute it if it was moving. So like if the flag bearers were like walking through a parking lot and I was within like 6 feet of it, I'd have to stop and salute. And maybe 10 feet.
Could you just take a wide berth?
No, I was no. I wasn't trying to avoid saluting.
Okay.
I was actually, you know, for all the silliness and nonsense aside, I'm fairly patriotic. I was pretty proud of my 5 years in the United States Army. Feel pretty good about that. And pretty. I love America. It's got some issues, but so I actually kind of felt like it was an honor to be able to salute the flag. And when I got out of the military, I lost that right. Yeah, I don't wear a uniform anymore. I'm not allowed to salute out of uniform, and so I can only put my hand over my heart. And it always makes me a little sad that I can't salute the flag anymore.
You can't?
I mean,
Wait,
I guess
what?
I could. I guess I fucking could, but it would be against like UCMJ protocol, which just doesn't matter. But it's just like it is what it is.
You're not allowed to salute out of uniform?
You're not supposed to salute out of uniform, yeah. Or at least you weren't supposed to back when I was in the Army. Things could change, but I doubt it.
I think I've heard that.
I've never heard that. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I no longer do it, and which is a bummer because I had one of the, not to brag, but I'm going to. I had one of the best salutes in the entire Army. I think I was so fucking. I used to practice.
Yeah,
the entire time I was in the Army, I would practice my salutes.
It'd be Wolverine claws one hand, salute the other hand.
Just like I have, you know, because I'm around tons of dudes. I have a perfectly straight salute arm. From tip of my finger to my elbow, it's a perfect wedge. You can't beat it. It's a lot of people can't get their hand and their arm and their wrist as straight as I can, and so I always felt like I was like a bit of a superstar when it came to saluting. So yeah,
Super saluter. Did we ever put out the video of you and Dan having a salute off? Because Dan salutes.
I don't think we should.
Dan in the British Army has like a different salute. I think the hand is like backwards.
Yeah, looks. I think. Well, listen. I think it probably came out as a happy hour or something years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go back and look at it. It probably doesn't hold up.
Okay.
Might be a little offensive in 2023. Who knows?
Well,
We were all drinking back then.
we were all friends.
Yeah. So anyway, it was awesome. The Brahmas were awesome. Unfortunately, they succumbed to Houston in overtime, but it was also an overtime game. It was only the second overtime game this year. It was fucking cool.
It was a crazy ending.
Phenomenal.
I saw the last quarter.
So kind of the Brahmas to reach out to us and to do that and offer us that opportunity. It was really, 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 really cool and really appreciate it.
It was great. The content that came out of it, I think, was really funny. Who filmed the Instagram video? Because they did an amazing job. It was perfect camera work.
Probably Emily.
Oh, Emily did fantastic. Just the way it was staged of like the screen and then seeing you run by, and then the ending is so perfect of Eric turning around cheering, being so genuinely happy about what's happening. It was great. It's a great video.
I'm so glad she did too, because it was all such a blur to me. I didn't really experience any of it. It was like over before it started. You know what I mean?
It would have been funny to see you with a GoPro. Just behind Heinz Ward chasing.
Maybe we should put it up on YouTube or something. I don't know. Did we put it? We put it on social media though.
It's on Instagram. Yeah, if people want to see it.
Okay.
It might be other places. I don't know.
I tried to post a GIF, but I don't think it worked.
Yeah. What about the Nitro? Do we want to get into Nitro? Has that happened yet? Has that shifted?
It has.
Oh, there's the GIF. It's the salute. What am I looking at here?
This is a salute that I think is better than Jeff's. It's the Arnold Rimmer salute. Oh, it isn't. It's not the whole thing. It's some of it, but maybe the best salute on television from Red Dwarf.
That's a pretty good salute. I don't know that I can compete with that salute.
That's a tough one. I like that you practiced. I appreciate it. You put an effort in. How often would you say you practice doing that? How much time do you think you invested into having the perfect salute?
Nah, not often. Not much.
Not often.
Yeah, maybe when you're getting ready in the morning in the mirror, you're like, "Do I still got it?" Yeah. It's like maybe throw a couple, 3 or 4 extra salutes a day in front of the mirror just to make sure you're on point, as they say.
I have a question for Gavin, unrelated to all of this. I feel like you've already covered this, but it's strange. I have it in my notes. You said at the end of the last episode, I revealed my icing bag thing as a thing that I didn't realize was weird till I stepped away from it. You said you'd have one this week. Do you have one, Gavin?
So what was the task again? To find out something that's
the
weird?
task was something that you do that's part of your routine that's weird, but you don't really realize it's weird until like you take a step back and you realize.
I almost throw up every time I brush my teeth. I gag maybe 4 to 5 times every morning over the sink, and I'm just sometimes. If I get a bad day, sometimes like the second my tongue touches the toothbrush, I'm like, ugh, and I just have the loudest screaming into the sink in an echoey bathroom. I don't know how Meg puts up with it. I'll just be like,
Emily does the same fucking thing. Like, I have to leave the room when she's brushing her teeth because it's gross to listen to. Because she gag. I've seen her. Oh, I haven't seen. I've heard her throw up from brushing her teeth before.
I've thrown up. God. I throw up maybe once every 3 months from brushing my teeth, but it's not like a full boke. Yeah. It's just like I'll just go like, and like a half a cup of liquid will fly out.
Oh,
and it's awful. And I talked about this on probably in a Let's Play years ago. And it doesn't happen to me anymore because I live in Austin. But when I used to live in England, the second I would leave the house on a cold morning, I would gag. Something about the cold air, like coming from a warm house, I would just open the door, the cold air would hit me in the face, and in the middle of just like, imagine it like a suburbia movie. I'm just like opening my door, closing it behind me, and then going, and then walking to school.
What an eventful walk to school for you.
This is the walking to school episode. Maybe that was the transitional moment between me and Errol.
Yeah, I was about to say, I love that you didn't put any of that on a character. That's just you. You're owning that. That's
just
you.
Me becoming Errol.
That's like your body fighting as Errol takes over.
So temperature change, brushing your teeth. Is there anything else that just randomly causes like obviously you have other triggers, but I mean like in that way. That's not
sometimes if the AC has been blasting and I get out of like a hot bath or shower, I'll get hit with the same coldness and I'll gag. I'll gag as well. Like, usually as I'm reaching for my towel, I'll throw. I'll just gag again.
Oh my god!
Do you ever gag when you're blowing Dan?
What? What now?
when you're giving blowjobs to Dan, do you ever gag? Your silence tells me the answer is yes.
I'm stunned.
It'd be a great time for Errol to show up. Give a little witty zinger back at him.
All right, well, that's mark that down as a yes for Gavin. And what's next?
A yes or a no, and like a wondering why. Why in that environment? So temperature causes you to gag?
Yeah, I think so. Not sure why, but I think that's something that is pretty regular for me and is pretty abnormal, but I'm just used to it.
I have friends. I have like two friends that when they step outside from inside and it's sunny out, they'll sneeze. Is it like that? Do you step outside and gag?
Yeah, I mean, if it's cold, yeah, definitely.
Do you ever gag from cold food, like a popsicle?
No,
What if you have like minty gum that's like really fresh?
no, it doesn't do it. Maybe if I put a popsicle in a mug or a thermos and then I just sucked it, maybe I would gag. If I just opened it and huffed it, like because you saw Eric on New Year's Eve, I couldn't even be around my cold drink that day, but I think that was the bubbles from the ginger beer.
So sudden temperature change can cause this. Like going from hot to cold or cold to hot. Is it both ways or is it just one way?
It's just hot to cold.
Hot to cold. Huh. I wonder if we could trigger this in some way.
Have you ever tried to go cold to hot?
Well, yeah, every time I leave the house here.
Yeah.
Okay. There was something you're gonna do in the next episode. What was it? You were gonna get something for the
Apple.
Oh, right. Okay. So you're going to try the apple. Can you also get a mug and fill it with ice and see if we can trigger your gag for the next episode also? And we're just doing like
that's a great
experiments on you? Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just imagining him being like strapping 20 ice packs to him in a porta potty and then having him step out into the sun after like 3 minutes if he just starts gagging. I feel like it's easier to go from being cold to hot than hot to cold. Like simulating that.
Maybe before we do the strumming or whatever, we just fill that thing with ice, and I'll just walk in there, and you can see if you hear the gags.
You just want like raw ice? What do you? I love the idea of filling the toilet with ice. It's just ice cubes coming out.
Would it make it cold in there? Probably would.
It would reduce temperature. I'd certainly assume. I don't know if it would be cold enough. I don't know what the temperature range is required for you to gag. What the minimum shift is.
I would say fill it with dry ice, but I think I would die.
Yeah, no, that would be that would not work.
Yeah, that'd
You'd just
be
be
like
dead.
you sitting in your office when the cats breathe all over you. It would just be a smaller space.
It'd be like 20 cats in a porta potty. God, this is a real freak show of an
This is a
episode for me.
weird. And we have
this
one
might be-
more.
This might be weirder than all the foot shit you were trying to put on me.
Oh man.
Who's trying?
I think we gotta try it. We gotta try it. I don't. When is the fish thing supposed to arrive?
It should be
Jeff's
here in like the
flaps.
next couple weeks. It has to ship from the UK, and genuinely, I don't know how UK shipping goes right now with like COVID stuff. So I'm just waiting.
That's fair. Are we gonna do smelling salts as well? Should we have like a range of things for him to try?
Man, we're
or
really
is
gonna
it
beat the
just-
shit out of Geoff, huh? Yeah, we
Well,
can
I
get
feel
smelling
like-
salts.
Some smelling salts. I feel like are. I don't know if that would be worse or better than what you
Realistically,
described.
It's like
Jeff,
back in I'm in high school all over again. Just people beating the shit out of me all day long.
like say you're in there and we crack the can and we throw it in there with you. How long realistically do you think you're going to be stood in there?
I mean, if my flaps work the way I think they do, I could stay in there indefinitely.
Gotta find out.
Is there a Guinness World Record for the longest? Can we get Guinness involved?
I mean, we could, right? But it's just that's the whole thing. You have to pay them. They have to fly out.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna give a fuck, but yeah, I can try.
Why do they give a shit about anything else?
because they're getting paid. They're like, I think that's
we
the
pay
whole,
for it.
It's expensive. We looked into this a few years ago. I wanted to do a show where we break Guinness records, like dumb Guinness records that are easy to break, and it's like $10,000 to get one of those Guinness guys out there. Yeah,
It's not that
At least it
much.
was back then.
That's
That's
crazy.
pre-COVID.
That's-
I feel like it would be more now.
Yeah.
It
feel like
might
it'd
be
be a
more
lot
now.
more.
Yeah,
Wow.
we could see.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, it's worth exploring.
I want to send you guys a photo. Somebody sent this into the face Instagram, and I want to see if you guys notice anything funny about this photo.
Okay, so Geoff is just
It's a photo of Sloppy Joes. You can finally see what the camera looks like.
Oh.
So that's what the audience sees when they're walking down the street and they see a Sloppy Joe's camera and they react to it. That's what they're looking at. And I was like, oh, cool. It's cool to finally see it. And then I noticed something that made me laugh for about an hour straight. And I want to see if you guys notice it.
Okay. There's a mic above it.
That's what it is.
Camera.
That's the fucking audio mic from the camera. They just have an XLR hooked up to a fucking like a band mic, and it's hanging from a pole in the roof, which is why sometimes when it's making a thump 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 noise, I realize it's just windy and the mic is just hitting against the wall back and forth. Look at that fucking setup.
That's almost more professional than I'd expect.
It's a professional mic, right? I mean, it's the same mic the bands are using inside, I guess.
Wouldn't you want more of a shotgun, though, for it to be pointed in front of the camera?
Yeah, there's a lot that you could want more of. I don't think they give a fuck. I think they went, we pointed at the camera. You got it.
Everything I learned about Sloppy Joe's is more fascinating than the last thing I learned.
It's really
the fact that is their setup is fantastic to me.
Crazy.
That's all.
Now, do you have any interest in actually going to Sloppy Joe's at this point? I apologize if we talked about this, but you've become so invested in the exterior. Do you care at all about going to the physical place?
Yeah, I would like to. I would like to. I would like to bring a little lawn chair and sit under the camera and just fucking experience it firsthand. I'm sure at some point we will go check it out.
Maybe if you're saying their setup isn't the most ideal, you could initiate some sort of trade with the Sloppy Joe's people. Could be great for the museum. Maybe a future item. I don't imagine this will fit before this upcoming RTX, but the idea of having the Sloppy Joe's mic is such a weird collectible.
It is. That is interesting. Like maybe if they upgrade, I could. Oh yeah, that's great. That's a good idea. It would be good for the museum. Speaking of the museum, I think it's been announced, but we're doing a face museum of oddities and things that are things at RTX. And so if you go to RTX in Austin this year, which is, I don't know, sometime in July, I think, Eric, you probably have dates.
July 7th through 9th. Tickets available at rtxaustin.com.
You can go check out the actual face museum, our first version of it. You know, I talked about this about a year ago about wanting to take it on the road and do Ripken's Believe It, because why not? And this is essentially going to be the first version of that. Well,
Ripken, that's funny.
Like Ripley, Ripken?
I'm an idiot. Yeah, I got it. No, I got it as soon as I said I'm an idiot, but that's very funny.
Thank you.
It's also, we mentioned that like a year ago.
Yeah. Well, now we're doing it.
Yeah, no, I mean, just for Andrew getting the joke.
Yeah, no, I forgot it. I forgot the joke. Then I thought Geoff flubbed. Then as I was correcting him, I realized I'm an idiot. That's a really funny joke. And there's no way. The plane was I couldn't reverse it. We're locked in. I just had to crash.
So we'll be doing that. We'll have a lot of weird stuff. You can see like the baseball bat where Geoff signed all the baseballs with it, and but maybe Owl and Puss. Like there's a lot happening, and
Face Rock.
Yeah, yes, and
Face Rock.
A thing that must be seen to be believed. You can see it. Come see it.
You know what?
Yep,
it is.
You know exactly what it is. So come see it.
Ultimate thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can I pitch a completely impractical idea that would be in my head funny for RTX, but it almost certainly won't happen?
Oh, please do. It's not too late in the game at all to start.
No, this is timely. It would be great if we had a giant canvas, because you have Geoff's bat that like he did all the autographs with, right? Mm-hmm. If we had a giant canvas that people could dip the bat into paint and then swing and paint a canvas of the swings, the bat swings, because a lot of paint flies off that bat. Could do essentially other people's attempts at Geoff's signature on this giant canvas.
2 stations, 1 green, 1 purple.
Yeah, even better. Look at that.
There you go, Eric.
An idea that you will not see at RTX.
Yeah, I'll definitely
Gerpalizer.
get that set up at RTX for sure.
We'll use latex interior house paint. It'll be fun.
Let me go talk to the convention center. Yeah, so we want people to swing bats, but it's not to hit anything. It's just so paint flies everywhere. You guys are cool with that, right?
Well, you can do like a Dexter kill room, and they step into it, and they swing a bat with paint, and it's perfect. It's easy.
Face kill room.
A face Dexter kill room. Great, man.
You might be able to see Errol.
Oh.
Wait, what does that mean? Is it just a photo of? Wow, this you just opened up a whole set of questions. Are there photos of Errol that aren't you? Has there ever been
like the mud in the tombstone?
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, if we can get that
I was
together.
thinking that you taking it like you might physically be a little bit different in some way when you're in these characters.
You walk with a slightly different gait. You like have a toothpick.
He's just got a little bit of a smirk.
Yeah.
You know he's about to be cheeky.
Oh yeah.
Then I walk over to the RT store booth, I gag, and I start knocking all the shit off the shelves.
It's cold over here.
There's a pretty good chance you might even get to see my PS5 footstool that I use when I'm recording. There's all kinds of stuff we can throw in there. It's very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the time this is out, all of Does It Do will have come out.
Yes, that is
That's true.
Yeah, so go
So
back and
if you haven't
rewatch
seen them, that you can see 7 total episodes.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, and the Hall of Dew will probably be in the museum
Yes.
as well. Actually,
Yeah.
thanks for bringing it up.
We do have some new merch coming out. I know we need to wrap up, but I want to let people know that we have some new stuff coming out. We will have a Protected by Falcon sign, and we will also have we've never done it before, a face vinyl, an episode
I'm so excited.
on vinyl. I think we're looking at that coming out. Gosh, I think like early June, late May, something like that. So follow us at FacePod on Instagram and on Twitter, and we'll keep you updated on those things. There's a lot going on.
And by vinyl, he means vinyl record.
Yes,
not
it is
like
a vinyl
sticker.
record. It is the whole episode pressed. I've heard it. I've listened to the whole thing. It is the episode, and it is on vinyl.
You listen to it on the vinyl?
Am I what?
Like you listen to the actual record, or you listen to the file?
No. I have the vinyl record at my house.
sick.
I had to listen to it to proof it. Yeah.
I'll even say this. That vinyl record that Eric has made an appearance in a few pieces of content in
it
the back
has.
as an Easter egg, and nobody's noticed it.
Nope,
But it's been on camera a few times.
It's in the background of a couple social things for a couple different things around. So it's really awesome. I can't believe we made it. It's real and it's crazy. So
Took about 2 years to make, but we did it. and by we, Nick did most of the work.
Yeah.
Nick and Ecom. But
we'll also have
it's pretty
Gerplers.
exciting.
We'll also have Gerplers soon.
Great.
So there'll be some stuff, blind boxy kind of stuff going on. So you can we'll have an update on that stuff soon at Face Pod on Instagram and on Twitter. You can stay up to date with everything. But we do need to wrap this one up. I'm very sorry. We're just on a little bit of a time crunch.
Will there be any golden GURPS at RTX?
Man, that's a good question. Let me see what I can.
Like, what if
They're
one?
so Gavin.
What if one was inserted into the
Gavin,
store?
they're so limited. I don't know.
They're so limited.
We can try.
only-
They're so
Well, wait.
limited. Let me see what I can do. Let me see what I can get, and then we'll go.
Are
from there.
they? They're selling before the event, right?
They are. That is correct.
Yeah.
It would be cool if you get a golden GURP and you're going
Oh.
to RTX. There should be a thing where if you could like show that you had it, and that gets you something. I don't know.
I'll tell you what. If you show me your golden Gerpler at RTX on the floor, I will walk you over to the store and give you free merchandise.
Wow.
How about that?
And you'll pull out the claws one more time.
Maybe I'll put a little snicked. You never know. All right, there you go. That's an episode of Face in the can, 151. We did it. Thanks to Pat Gavindale. Thanks to Raymond Somer. Thanks to Jeffrey Paul Wright and the other two. We'll see you next week. Don't forget to like and review and rate and subscribe and tell everybody that you've ever met to listen to the Face podcast. Because if you don't, well, we don't want to find out what happens.
What?
I'm gonna go blow Dan.
Don't gag.
Hey guys, Major League fan Jack here with a look at next week's episode of Face. That dog is long. Geoff is frosting. The Face waffle maker is awesome. Lots of supplemental content is incoming. How far would you sink in pancake sand? How long is your back? And once again, Andrew does not eat the pencil. All that and more on next week's episode of Face.